The Retro Buzz starts right after this.
Hey guys, it's Saturday and it's time for the Retro Buzz. I know we normally do it on a Friday, but Wilson over here decided to change all that and mess everything up. And you see why. He tells us it's his son's birthday, but the reality of it is it's actually Glenn's birthday. Cuz look at this guy. He looks like a kid in a kid. Do you have 3 things there?
Thanos stopped by earlier, and he dropped these off me to watch for him. He's getting his glove fixed, so
Nice.
he dropped these off me to to look at for a little while, and I don't mind.
Is that all 3 of them? You have the PC Engine, the Core Graphics, and the TurboGrafx 16 minis.
You gotta have 3 now. I haven't got my other 4 sets yet. This is my first set.
Jeez, no wonder they shut down.
It's your first holy trinity.
That's right, the first one. Thanos will snap his finger. I'll get the rest.
Oh, we'll come back to Glenn here in a little bit. But we also got Mr. Douglas Smith, Mr.
Howdy.
Cool Toy. It's great to have you guys here.
As always.
We have a special guest with us, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But we've got some news to talk about really quick. I want to kind of present this to everybody. So if you didn't know, Mother's Day is coming up, and the folks
You better know.
Well, yeah, you better know
better
this,
know.
right? So the folks at Games sent me an email, and they said, we want you to show this on your show, and we want you guys to talk about this. And it said, Happy Mother's Day. And I know Apple does a lot of things like that. Apple will drop bombs like that, and they'll put pictures out there, and we got to kind of figure out what is going on.
Decode it. Yeah.
We have to decode it. So what do you guys think? I mean, they said that we have to watch their social channels this week to find out what that means. But what do you guys think? Let's take a stab. Go for it, Doug.
So it sounds like it's going to be like an Easter egg hunt type of thing where they're going to, or not Easter egg hunt, but like Hansel and Gretel type situation where some breadcrumbs are going to be periodically scattered throughout their social media channels, and we got to kind of put the pieces together and find the light at the end of the tunnel or something like that. And obviously, with Mother's Day being the main theme of that image, it probably has something to do with gaming and mothers. So hopefully we can stay tuned to the social media channels, maybe win some stuff, figure some stuff out, and play some games with mom, maybe.
Glenn, I think it had something to do with Kathleen. I think that you and her were supposed to do so. Is that what you're picking up? No?
Well, the thing is, Doug couldn't be farther off base. So what they're doing is it's the Kathleen Kennedy game coming from At Games, where she promises you the world and instead gives you garbage.
Oh my!
And then she wants you to take out the garbage. So every 15 minutes of gameplay, Kathleen Kennedy pops on the screen saying, "Take out the garbage," or "Do the dishes," or whatever, or "Go watch the worst Star Wars trilogy ever made," type of thing. So that's really what it's going to be about. That's I'm telling you.
Doug, I'm going to stick with you on this one. I think that there's some kind of I don't think it has anything to do with Kathleen Kelly, whatever you call her, week in and week out. You just
Devil Woman, I think is what he typically
he's called her.
As.
He's called her that a few times.
Yeah, just about.
But
just about.
Doug,
destroyed an empire.
I kind of broke down, and I know you're still waiting, but I broke down and I got the TurboGrafx. I ordered it right before the cutoff for Japan. I bought it, but hear me out, so everybody sees that I have this. The only thing I've done with it so far, and I've had it for about a week and a half, is I've taken it out of the box, did the unboxing video, packaged it back up, and put it back in the box. And the reason for that is having that EverDrive, I was kind of like, it's missing some cool games. So so I'm gonna do a Glenny with that. I'm gonna put it up on the
plastic bag it.
I'm gonna plastic bag.
I'm gonna send you the bag I'll send you the bag so you can put it in there.
Well, no,
You gotta have the bag to keep it all safe.
I can actually use the one from this. So yesterday they had a really good deal. Glenn shared with us. He said that they had the NeoGeo Minis
Yeah,
for $30. So I did pick one of these up. If you guys, I know a lot of you guys got your orders in, but I also, Doug, I don't know if you got, I know you had one earlier, but I picked up the controllers, $22 a piece.
Yep.
So I've got those, and that'll be tomorrow's project to play around with that.
I got nothing. Mine's still in shipping. I got nothing. I post it and I got nothing.
Hey, you're the one that lives in the pandemic capital of the world. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
Very true.
The
Very true.
epicenter of this right now. What it really boils down to, it sounds like I'm the only person left standing on the world that doesn't have the TurboGrafx Mini. And what it's really going to come down to is I'm going to have to pay scalper prices. And by scalper prices, I mean Glenn's Retro Show prices, and maybe get him to sell me one of the 4 that he owns for me to be able to get.
Dude, I told you I want a Tesla. I got to get a Tesla, man.
Well,
So,
Glenn's got 4 other ones on order, so he'll just sell you one. That's what
it's going to boil down to, because mine, I'll be retired by the time mine actually ships from Amazon USA.
Well, without further ado, we have another special guest here that we can kind of talk some more about this stuff with. We titled this one "Riggen the System" because we've got Mr. John Riggs with us. YouTube.
Riggs in the house.
What's going on?
No, I'm good, man. How you feeling? Doing all right?
We're doing all right. Glenn's not doing too well, though.
Oh, that's what? What happened?
Well, because he doesn't have all 5 of his turbos yet.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have my NeoGeo Mini yet. I mean,
sure.
Come on.
Yeah, these things happen. Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, so what did you jump on this even to buy another one at $30? I think you had this already. Did you jump on it, or did you just kind of stay like the normal rest of us?
I'm good for now. I mean, I had one, did my video when the system first came out. And again, just like everything else, I got it, did the video, played it for a little bit, and then I shelved it, and that's where it sat this entire time. And even when I saw that deal too, it's like $30, I could go for another one. But it's like, what am I going to do with 2 of them outside of, keep one pristine and the other one I never even.
What can't you do? What can't you do with more than one?
Glenn will show you.
Oh, plenty.
Get the bags out, Glenn. Get the bags out.
No, I mean, even the one that I had, I gifted to another content creator so he could do a video on one, because I got one a little bit earlier than like the public, I guess. So it's like, but it's still, I don't need it right now. It's a great deal, and it works, I think, pretty well. When you plug it in through HDMI to a monitor, it's not as good as it could be, but just like as a standalone by itself, I think they're pretty neat. So,
that's what I want to do. I want to put it with my consoles. So you're saying that the screen is not going to be something I'm going to be too happy with?
It works.
It's not the best.
It's not the best, but it's all right. I just like it for what it is. It's like a standalone thing. I also wish it had batteries or some kind of rechargeable something, because it's like it looks portable, but you still have to plug it in. So yeah. I don't know.
See, that's what I like about John, and he had the keyword right there. He likes it for what it is. A lot of people take things. Well, it's not as good as the arcade machine. It's not a $5,000 NeoGeo arcade machine. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. He takes it. He could take it for what it is, and enjoy it at that point. He can still have issues with it, but at least he says, "Okay, hold on a second. This is a small mini unit. It's an emulation unit. Let's enjoy it for that, and then I can take a look at it from there." So that's what I really like about John, is he can do things like that.
So you're not going to be a purist?
No, I mean, you can't be, especially when it comes to emulation, especially when it comes to like these portables, these handhelds. The Evercade's coming out soon. I was checking that out.
Yes, I watched that video. I want one.
I mean, you almost can't be a purist. Fortunately, I'm not as sensitive to lag. Good Lord.
Hey, that's okay. He's photobombing.
So it's fine. But if somebody with like the NeoGeo Mini, maybe down the line, I'm waiting forward to like Cool Toy doing some kind of modding thing where he actually shoves an entire NeoGeo in the back of it somehow, and soups up them. So it's like it's portable, but it has like a 20-inch like monitor or something. We'll see.
I want a real NeoGeo. I really do. Never had one as a kid.
I never had one. Me neither.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it was with the TurboGrafx.
Well, they're just too much money. They're too much money. I know John has one as well. I got the NeoGeo X Gold. I got that,
right.
And I've never even taken it out of the box yet. It's still sitting in the box, so I don't even know how well if it works. But to own a real Even now, it's expensive.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
It It works. I mean, it works like what your NeoGeo Mini does, the NeoGeo X Gold. It's, purists are like, it's just it's not what they wanted it to be, but I thought it played just fine for the games I wanted to play it on.
So, what do you think, Doug? You've had it for a while.
Mhm.
Is it all it's hyped up to be? Should people be thrilled that they got it for $30? Somebody like me who didn't have it before.
Yeah, $30 is a steal in my opinion. I got mine during the Black Friday deal. I got it for $60 and it came with 2 controllers, which was a heck of a deal because the controllers are what I was after. Because in reality, you're not really going to enjoy playing it like this with adult-sized hands. The HDMI out port, it works and everything, but it's just not as good as it should or could be. I bought it for collectability. They actually have a stand you can buy from Japan that places under it. And it looks like the old school Japanese version of the NeoGeo arcades. So I've got mine on one of those, and I've got it next to my New Wave Toys collectible Replicate arcades that kind of fits in with that scale. So that's what I've utilized mine for right now.
What about with going with this, adding because I bought the controllers, I got the black one. Somebody said in the chat room, Nacho said, $19.99 for the white controllers. People might look at that and go, man, $30 for the gift system, and then maybe like $50.
Yeah.
For 2 controllers. Is it worth it? Because Doug, I think you pointed out in our little conversation that we had, the joystick and buttons on it sucks. I mean, it just flat out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean they're not a clicky joystick or button or anything. They just mush and they have no response to them. So it's just like, and again, back to the adult-sized hands. You're obviously not meant to really get your hands in there and be able to play a game enjoyably. I mean, you could play something like Metal Slug where it doesn't need, super precise movements. But if you're going to play one of the fighting games, you're obviously not going to want to do it, Zoolander style like this.
Well, I mean, you could.
You could, yeah.
Could.
It's just not ideal. So the controllers are what I was excited about. They got that nice little D-pad. They got the white and black version, so you can go whatever you want. But I like plugging these in, and then the ability, they got that, was it the Neo Geo arcade stick that is kind of like a companion piece.
Yeah.
You can plug it in and use that, or you can just play those games, and it's got HDMI out as well. So I like what they're doing. It's just I didn't think the MSRP initially was where they needed to be. I think where these $60 to $30 sell point is where they need to be. So hopefully they're still making money. I'd like to see them proceed to release future things like this and expand upon it. But that $129 that they were asking for the arcade stick, and I think the NeoGeo Mini was originally $100 as well without any controllers. I thought that was a bit steep as well.
Yeah.
You always give it to the the early adopters. They always get the screws. If you wait and got patience, that's when you win out.
Like the PlayStation.
I mean, look at the PlayStation Mini.
Yep.
Like the PlayStation Mini, I bought that for like $99, and
I did the same thing.
I stuck a hook right in there. They got me, and it was garbage as it was. Of course, look-wise, it's great. Just emulation-wise, it sucks until you hack it.
Right.
The only one that was probably worth its price if you were able to get it, was the NES Classic Mini. But of course, no one got it at that price. You pretty much had to get the scalper price on those.
I got mine for $22. My PlayStation Mini,
shut up.
new from Best Buy. It was a
up.
fire sale. I almost bought 2 or
Literally,
3 of them, but they would only let us get one per person. But yeah,
That's a good price.
$23.
I saw some woman at Best Buy give her 2 kids. Here's
Oh, I'm sure
she walked out with her Mini. And the
you would
kids
have done
stayed
that.
there as slaves. Oh yeah, I would have. Yeah.
So John, let's talk about your new acquisition. I know we've all been on the train here with the At Games Legends Ultimate. And now you're on board with it. You got it. What made you decide to get this cabinet? Because there's some mixed emotions out there. People are like, Arcade 1-Up is king. People are like, why would you want to go with a company that's had a bad reputation all these years? And I mean, everybody that has one of these arcades, for the most part, they love this thing. This thing is like a gold mine. So talk to us a little bit. What made you decide to pull the trigger on it?
Well, for me, it was playing it. They had a demo model at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo last year, and I didn't even know it was going to be there. It was just in the at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. There's a Tetris tournament, which I'm usually not part of, but I think it's cool to see everyone there and all competing and everything. So I popped my head in just to kind of look around a little bit, and here it is. Here's this At Games Legends Ultimate that I've heard about. I get at games, I follow them on Twitter and I see their updates and everything. And I was curious about it. I was interested. I know their history as well, but I also still think, there's even before all that, they had some other products that I thought were really good. A lot of people trash their Genesis flashback systems, but their latest version of the Genesis flashback that also had Master System and Game Gear games on it and could play actual cards, I thought it worked pretty well. I was actually a fan of that one, and I still use it if I can. So when I heard the arcade coming out, I was like, the price is a little high. Yes, there's arcade one-ups. I have one arcade one-up, and I like them, but I'm also 6'5". So to play one, I'm either sitting down in a very awkward like man spreading thing to wrap my legs around the console, or I have to put it up on on a different kind of riser, maybe put it up on a chair or something, which is totally countertop. But they work out pretty well. They really are. But when I heard about the at-game, the Legends Ultimate, when I actually played it hands-on, I was like, oh, this is pretty neat. I like it for what it is. I didn't have any clue about what you can do to it later, about the adding your own ROMs and the bring your own game and playing games through Steam on it, with the arcade link and all that. I was really interested in that. And when once I started watching a few videos on here's what you can do and here's how you can add games and everything, I was like, that's an instant winner. I have a Pandora's box. I have a Pandora's box that's the dual arcade stick, HDMI, plug it in, comes equipped with like 2,000 games, and it works really well. But this is kind of, the standalone and the fact that it has the trackball and the spin dial thing. I thought it'd be fun, not just for me and my nostalgia, but also, having children. They can play like the bowling games where you just use the trackball, or the other day my daughter and I were literally playing Pong. So there's a lot. Has a lot.
You just made Glenn's day.
That's right. Yeah, we're fans of the old school too. Pong was my first console growing up, so I've always had a fondness for Pong. So it took playing it. It's just like being I'm a huge VR gamer too. It takes actually experiencing it for you to say, okay, this is actually pretty cool, or to have the opposite opinion, saying, well, at least I'm glad I tried it before I bought it. But yeah, everybody who I've shown the at games one up, it never, or not the at games one up, the at games, the Legends Ultimate. It's the fact that it's from at games. It's Nintendo is not, Nintendo has the word Nintendo on it, but everything they've made isn't gold. So it's just you take the good with the bad and you discover your own stuff, and you just don't read into the internet hype.
Well, and right. I think we all agree. And Glenn, there's been so many things, even like growing up. We talked about the TurboGrafx 16. Every kid that I was around, nobody had one because everybody said Nintendo's best, or Sega's best. That was the wars.
Right.
And now, what does everybody want?
That's exactly it. There's so much word of mouth, especially back before the internet, where people would say, "No, you want the NES or Genesis. No one wants this other one." So no one experienced it. And then eventually, no one experienced it, and it was just word of mouth. Oh, it sucks. It's no good. Then you come 20, 30 years later, and you have a Mini come out. People are playing it for the first time, going, "Holy cow, this thing's actually really fun." And not only that, I personally, a lot of people I talk to find that these minis are actually the best ones out so far, just because of the whole experience, the good game library, the interface, the way it's put together. It's just a really nice mini, and a lot of people never got to experience it because of word of mouth. That it just sucks and no one wants it, and it's a shame. But at games, as you see right now, as John just said, that they had a stigma, and for whether they deserved it or not is up to the individual person. I just, people know I got all of them anyway. I take it for what it is. That's what John does. And as you take them for what they are, they're enjoyable. They're not supposed to be, exact replicas of the arcade machine or stuff like that. They're a $30 impulse buy. You go to the store, oh my God, I remember those games. And you buy it and you play it for a little while. That's what they were for. It was almost like a stocking stuffer type of thing. So, but at games did release some that were, not good. Like the ColecoVision flashback they did, it was okay, but the controls were all wrong colors. They just weren't done right. So there's some missteps. So when the Legends Ultimate came out, just too many people had that at games. Oh man, it's gonna be garbage, and it took them a little while, but not as long as I thought. We talked about this way back in episode 1 and 2, that we didn't think at games would turn around as quick as they did, but people went from hating at games to now people defending them, almost like the 300 Sparta, and they're defending the Legends Ultimate, because they took the time, they sat back and said, listen, we need to change our game, we need to change our image, and we need to prove that we can come out with something good, and they have. And not only that, after the fact of selling it for what it was, there's been, as John said, enhancements, ways to add more games, more things you could do to it. Blend retro Shortron joysticks, all kinds of things you could put on there. It's just the fact that they came out with something that's kind of open-ended, for good or bad. We come into also the part with piracy. It's kind of a big thing now with some of these machines, and that could hurt the retro community on one side of the coin, but on the other side of the coin, pirating and people using stuff illegally has always been here. I mean, it's a thing it's like a dark little secret, but people like John, you guys, myself, obviously, if you come out with something and it's decent, we're going to buy it. In my case, even if it's not decent, I buy it, but whatever. But the point is, these companies are realizing that our community, the retro gaming community, is just as viable as an Xbox One or a PlayStation 5 community. Money is to be made, but you got to make something decent. If you do, they will come.
John Diamonin in the chat room, he's standing up for Doug here with the whole Sega. He's like, no, the TurboGrafx didn't do well because Sega and Nintendo were just better with a larger library. Yeah.
You're not coming. What? What? Hello? I can't hear anything.
Headphones don't transmit reason. That's why you can't hear it.
But I have to agree with John on that. I think, John Riggs, I don't know if you agree with that too, but there's certain games on the TurboGrafx 16. It's like, where did that come from? Like, you have these great killer games, and then it's like
the filler.
Yeah, like really bad fillers. Like, okay, what's the one that has the Beach Boys song that's playing in the background?
That'd be Yo Bro. Or
Yo Bro. It's like a bear that's riding a skateboard, and I was playing it, and my daughter goes.
Then for the TurboGrafx 16, they have Camp California.
Yeah,
which is its kind of sequel.
What is that? Like, I still don't understand the point of Yo Bro. I played it. It was catchy because I know the Beach Boys.
It's the 90s, dude. Yo Bro was it. That was where it was at in the 90s.
No.
You said yo, you said bro, you said bear on a skateboard. That's the most 90s thing I've ever heard.
It's no bro. No bro.
Get the no bro.
Every system had those. Every system had the gold, and then there was the filler stuff. And I had a TurboGrafx 16 back in when it was. I think I got one about 6 months after it came out because there was a couple of games on there I really wanted to check out, and then I already had a Nintendo from way back in the day, and I already had a Sega Genesis, and because I always have to get all the consoles because there's always going to be those exclusives that no one else is talking about. Yep. During the console wars with Nintendo and Sega, it's like I like both of those, and I was the one kid on my block who had the TurboGrafx 16 too. But just by playing through those, and you find you're going to have your blazing lasers and your bonk and your and whatever else. But yeah, you're going to have the Ogro. You're going to have Impossible. You're going to have all these other ones. It's like,
oh man, come on, Keith Courage and Alpha Zones. That was the seller right there.
Hey,
Keith
that was packaged. That was good.
Yeah,
it was pack-in. That's right.
That's why
it should have been. There's so many other games that should have been the pack-in. Yeah, they should have done that. It was the pack-in because no one would buy it. It was based on an anime that never came out in America.
Yeah, it was a game that when you bought this machine, you're not buying this machine to play that game. You're buying it to get some other game. But Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, it was just like the wrongest wrong of a packing game.
Well, maybe that's a smart idea. I mean, back then, Nintendo released the Game Boy with Tetris because they knew that people wanted to play Tetris. So here's your Game Boy with Tetris. If it happened today, there's no way they would make Tetris for free because they're going to buy it. So Keith Courage and Alpha Zone, they can get away with, because people are like, oh, Legendary Axe, this game looks awesome. I want to buy that. But if it's already free, then that's money out of their pocket, So may as well throw in.
Think of it. Look at Sega. Sega, they didn't want to pack in Sonic, but Sega USA says, no, we want to put Sonic in there. That's our biggest game. Why are we going to pack it in with the Genesis? Why? Sold machines. Just that simple.
That's when I bought mine. Yeah, I bought mine when I bought my Genesis right when they had Sonic as the pack-in, and then I had to go out and find a used copy of Altered Beast.
Yeah,
so I got like 5 Altered Beasts.
Oh, of course you do.
Upstairs,
of course you do.
Beast.
One for every level.
Let's shift gears here a little bit because there was another retro game that just came out that was remade, completely redone, and I don't know about all you guys, but I also not only did I pre-order it as Doug did, I believe. I wanted the original Genesis case for it along with it. So I did that, but like Doug said, we won't see that for months. but I also got it from the Play Store, and that is Streets of Rage 4. And Doug, I hope you don't mind I'm hijacking your footage here from
go for it, yeah.
earlier. What do you guys think of this? I mean, I played it last night. I got to like mission 2 or 3 because that's all the time I had. What's your overall thoughts on this? Well, Doug, since it's your video, we'll start with you so you can kind of.
Okay.
So it looks like
Yeah.
you're talking down there.
Yeah, I had a blast with it. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna stream and play a little bit of it. I kind of thought I'd play for an hour and just enjoy it that way, and I ended up beating the entire game in one sitting.
I hate you.
I mean, it took me 2 hours to do it, but like it was still super fun and enjoyable. Like I didn't feel bored with anything. I felt like it was like a really good like love letter to previous Streets of Rage fans, especially Streets of Rage 2 fans specifically. Like the very first level of Streets of Rage 4 feels like it's like one block away from the opening level of Streets of Rage 2. Like it just feels so cohesive in that nature. It's got, you know, new updated graphics. Originally when the trailer first came out, people were like, oh, this looks like a cell phone game. And I kind of thought that as well until I saw some actual like updated gameplay footage, and then you can really look at the level design, the details. Like there's so many little nuances going on. Like there's flies buzzing around trash and garbage. There's pigeons that fly around. There's like little dust particles that give the stages an extra level of depth. So I was really impressed with it. The soundtrack, it had the original composers from Streets of Rage 2 coming back to do the music. It obviously is not as catchy as Streets of Rage 2, but maybe that's just subjective and it comes with time. You know, I've got to play this more before all these songs, you know, get burned into my head like the original Streets of Rage 2 songs were. So far I've been loving it to death.
All right. Because we'll do Glenn last because Glenn absolutely hates fighting games and can't win at them. So, John,
Yes.
what's your thoughts of it?
The same. I played through it. Same as you. I played through it on my first sitting on easy mode. I'll go through back and play it through the other modes too. But I like the music. I actually went out after I beat it and bought the digital soundtrack through Bandcamp or SoundCloud or one of those. Whoever did the music for it, he was like, "Oh, here's the." I reached out to .emu and was like, "Hey, do you have this like the CD for sale?" And like, well, we don't have the CD. They're doing a vinyl with limited run games. But if you want the CD, I mean, here's, you know, you can listen to the songs online for free. And there's also like a click to, you know, buy the whole album for $10. So I was like, did that, supported the cause. I like the fact that between each stage, so like sometimes you play the game, like let's say as Axel, that was the first guy I played as. And you feel like you're stuck with them until you die. But you can change characters after each stage if you want, which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't realize that until about 3 stages in. It was just to see who else is out there and see what else is out there. You can unlock new characters too. So I have one of them unlocked so far. Still have to go back through and get the rest of them. But yeah, it's the same where I heard about it. Cool. You know, I love the Streets of Rage games back in the day, especially Streets of Rage 2. I saw gameplay footage at, was it E3? It may have been PAX West, but I didn't play it. I saw it and I was like, oh, there it is again. Okay. And I just, at that point, I was like, I'll play it when it comes out because that's kind of how I am with almost every game. I see games at E3. I see games at PAX West. I don't want to wait. I'm not waiting in line for 2 hours to play some game I'll play in a couple of months. I just kind of look over. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll check it out when it comes out. You know, no big deal. And it's out, and I'm glad I did. And I played a little bit online too. I played 2 stages online. The first one, I think I was running off of their Wi-Fi or something, which was, I mean, it had to have been like a 96 baud rate. I don't know. It was like super slow and stuttery, and it didn't quite move as fast. But then when I backed out of that stage and went to another online, it's just a random, like, here's who's all playing online that you can join their party. You can just jump right in. And when I did that on the next one, it played as if I was sitting right next to some guy playing Streets of Rage 2 right next to him. So a couple new moves in there too. I love the fact that you can like throw your items and then bounce it back and you can catch it again and like throw it again or hit someone else with it. And yeah, there's a lot going on with this game, like the air combos and all that. I'm a huge fan, like I said. Beat it my first sitting, and I'll play it probably right after this podcast and go through it to someone else.
You can't beat the price on it. And Doug, if you can look up that super chat there while we get Glenn's view of this, because Glenn's probably going through and playing as you. People don't know that you're the special character in here, Doug. You're actual. You reprised the role of Axel.
I came back with Axel.
You came back as that. That's why he's got the beard going on. He's you know, he reprised the role as Axel.
No, we got a super chat from Zohar. It says, I remember seeing ads for NeoGeo and GamePro mags and thought Turbo Graphics is not that turbo in comparison. So NeoGeo and Genesis destroyed Turbo.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. NeoGeo.
What?
Yeah. So those are fighting
Hello?
words.
Yeah.
Look
I
at
love
look
it.
what
I love
look
it.
what wait. Look what Glenn
You
had to
guys
do.
there?
Glenn had to go get reinforcement because he's getting his butt handed to him about the TurboGrafx. You notice
Yep.
this?
Yeah. So if
What's
you're
that?
Axel, that's
What?
skate, right?
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Well played.
Glenn, did you get
Well,
did you get it? Streets of Rage?
Streets of Rage? No, but I'm gonna shock you guys in a couple of things, and Cole can even testify. They're talking about Streets of Rage. What is my favorite Sega Genesis game? I just gave you the answer. Streets of Rage, right? So not only did I play 1, 2, and 3, I beat Streets of Rage, all 3 of them. So Streets of Rage 2 is my absolute all-time favorite Sega Genesis game by far. It's just a fantastic game. The soundtrack is phenomenal, and to be honest, that's one of the things that hurt at games with their consoles. If you play Streets of Rage on the flashbacks, usually the audio is like horrible, and you can't ruin that soundtrack. The soundtrack is legendary. So with that being said, I haven't played Streets of Rage 4 yet, but we're talking about the minis. I will definitely give kudos 100% to Streets of Rage and Sega on that one. It is just a phenomenal game. It's probably one of my favorite games of all times, next to Pong.
And the price, you can't beat the price, right? Like they could have
Yeah.
came out and just said you're gonna drop 60 bones on this thing, and what was it, $22? I think it was, or
Yeah.
was it something like that.
And there's a lot of replayability and things to go back for and unlock, and go figure, you actually got to like play through the game to unlock things as opposed to the whole pay to win and like loot crate and all that kind of
How
stuff.
funny
Like
that.
yeah, they did it the way it's supposed to do.
Well, I'm thinking about I have it for the PS4, but I'm actually thinking about buying it on Steam as well, so I can play it on my Legends, because P-Dub said you play it in arcade mode on the Legends, and it's how it would be if it was in the arcade. So that kind of got me excited, and I might buy it on Steam as well for whatever they have it for, $20 or whatnot.
Right.
Mhm.
Totally.
So it might be worth. Did any of you guys get it on Steam, or you do all PlayStation? What did you do it on?
I got mine on Steam because that I did the physical limited run order, and like I told you earlier, don't expect it to actually show up on my doorstep anytime soon. So I didn't have to wait. I wanted to play it now, so I ordered it on Steam because I just I already had a physical copy coming on my Switch, but I didn't see the point in buying a digital copy as well. So I played it on Steam. That way I could also play it on the Legends cabinet if I wanted to do that way, and really enjoyed it.
Now I have mine on the Nintendo Switch, but if you have an Xbox One and if you have Game Pass, it's free right now on Game Pass.
Sweet.
On Xbox.
Heck of a
If you
deal.
have Xbox One and Game Pass, absolutely 100% free right out of the gate. So it's like, man,
Wow.
that's how you do it.
Yep.
But I have mine on the Nintendo Switch, and it plays fine.
And what are you going to get it on, Glenn? I have mine on the PS4.
TurboGrafx.
I gotta.
Sega Genesis?
No, you can't play on a TurboGrafx. No, it's got to be played on the Atari 5200. Gotta get that copy. That's coming out, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Or the Magnavox Odyssey. The Magnavox Odyssey version has got to be great.
Sticks of
Hope so.
Rage.
Yes, that's right. Sticks of Rage.
Right.
That's what we'll have to call it from now on. I was actually surprised. There wasn't there, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I was just reading articles on this, but wasn't there like an Australian hack of some sort where you could actually, like, guys were getting it before the U.S. and they were playing it, like, because I've seen it all over Twitch, and I'm sitting here going like, and I saw it in the chat room because I was watching people playing it. I'm like, how are you playing it in the U.S.? Sure. But there was some kind of Australian hack that, like, if you change something or change your time zone, you could actually download it or something earlier. Did anybody else see that?
Well, in Australia, if you have at least if you have a Nintendo Switch account, it probably works for PlayStation 4 also. But games come out at, let's say, midnight. Well, midnight in Australia is like 6 p.m. our time or something like that. So if it's like midnight there, it's a different time for us. And that's happened before. I mean, there's also going to be people who like leak the review copies, which is terrible. But yeah, I have several friends who use that Australian time zone thing. It's free to set up an extra account on your system, just to have that thing. And when you download the game, it's the same game. It's the same US game. Nintendo, at least as far as Switch goes, a lot of games will come out almost like universal. It's just like it's the same game, but if you get it in Japan, it's default the Japanese language. You get it in America, it's default the English language. But you can't even, like, if I buy the American version of the game, I can't even buy the Japanese version of the game because I already purchased it. Just because it's the same game, just with different language track on it or something. So it's interesting. But I've seen that happen before in the past.
So there you guys go. New version of a game comes out. You want to buy it digital? Get yourself
For
an
everyone
account.
else?
Yeah, play it early. Get on Twitch before everybody else. Before the body painters get on there.
There you go. Yeah. Those
I'm
viewers.
sorry. Everywhere I go,
Yeah.
it's like, part of my job, my day job, is I work for a software company that makes broadcasting software, right? And we get
Nice.
we had this guy that called in, and he was like, "Hey, I'm trying my hand at Twitch." He does like one of those tinfoil hat type shows, right, where conspiracies run amok.
Glenn,
he's
do you
like-
know this guy?
Well, he's like, I'm on every platform, and I go on to Twitch, and he says, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. He says, I go on there, and I can't get any viewers. And in my head, I'm going, because obviously you don't want to tell him, like, well, maybe because your content is not something for Twitch. But he's like, yeah, I
Right.
go on there, and he says, you either have to be blonde and sitting there being all ditzy, or you have to be painting yourself. And so I got a kick out. So I went on Twitch, and I started looking, just perusing. Because usually when I stream, I just stream gameplay, or I go to the retro section and watch. And I started looking where he's I'm like, oh, my goodness. He's right. That's the only way you're going to get viewers around here, right?
Right.
So that's why I make that joke all the time. But it's true. What do we?
It's a proven method. It's not the only proven method, but
We've
it's,
seen Doug do it many times.
yeah, I mean, I'm not shy about my body paint.
I seen that.
When I go to Hobby Lobby and they've got a deal, I'm going
See?
to take advantage of it. 40% off.
You
I'll
didn't
take
think Glenn?
40%
You didn't
off
think
my
Glenn was
clothes.
going to tell me that, did you? Yeah, he
No,
he
no,
told
I
me.
thought-
The fact you knew about Hobby Lobby and the paints and the price off is scary to me. It's just scary.
Glenn, you got a super chat in the chat there. If Doug, you want to read that out for him, because he's not going to be able to look at him. He doesn't even have his glasses on. He's trying to get
Oh.
I
closer.
know. I know. I mean,
I can see it.
You got it?
He
You
can't
got
read
Glenn?
it.
Well, he said- well, he's asked a question I can't even answer. How do you get 15,000 plus members on the device? I don't even have 15,000 plus members. I mean, I think I got 15 members. I mean, I don't know. I guess you got to do this. You got to go like this.
Money, money, money. Make it rain.
Make it rain. No, but I think I think more and more we're going to see these digital games coming out faster and faster from articles that I've been reading because of everything that's going on. John, I want to
Right,
ask
you're
you, like,
right.
how do you feel? Because Doug, myself, and even, well, we know Glenn because he's got 5 of everything. How do you feel about the whole downloadable content? Are you one of those that, even if you download it now and you got to wait 2 months for a physical copy, are you one that has to have a physical copy?
If there's, I don't shy away from digital. I'm a huge fan of indie titles. Some of my favorite games on all modern consoles are all indie games that don't have physical copies of them. And I'm not waiting for limited run games. I'm not waiting for special reserve. There's a ton of companies who will take these indie games that are digital and make them physical. IndieBox did that for Steam games. If there's an option, I'll buy the physical 100% of the time. But if there's not a physical, I still won't shy away from buying the digital. And I have a decent collection. I'm not a collector. I just happen to have a collection of a bunch of games. And for that reason. And then sometimes, my end of day theory is just, yes, it's physical and it's on a disc. Like I purchased like Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PlayStation 4. Couldn't wait to play that. And I could have downloaded it, but I bought the physical disc, which is fine. But some people are like, I have friends, trust me, I have friends who are just like, I will never even play it if there's not a physical version of it. It's like, well, yeah, but down the line, when you pop in that physical disc, if there's no more support for it, you're just going to have a coaster, because when you pop in the disc, it'll be like, hey, you can't play the game without updating it. So here's all your updates.
Right.
And then it's going to dump the information from the disc onto the console anyway. And then the disc is basically just the key to make that, digital game work in the first place. So it's just like, I like having the physical version too. And if there's a physical version, I'll grab it. But anymore, especially with having children too, sometimes having these digital games, it's just so much easier, like for flights or whatever, just to have my Switch loaded with however many games are on there. Some of them are games I purchased, some of them are review copies of games still. But then having to like take a game out, put it back in, take a game out, put it back in. The problem with that also, though, is then you're in that iPod mindset where you just listen to the first 30 seconds of a song, skip, 30 seconds of a song, skip. When you actually pop in the disc and you have to play it, now you're committed. You have to play this game that you're playing, as opposed to playing something on a RetroPie where, the first time you die, okay, that sucked, move on to the next game. So it forces you to sit down and actually play the game.
Well, Glenn, do you think this is slowly killing the resale of games by having the digital only? I mean, because think about it, if you got digital only, you can't trade them in. A lot of these kids, like you look at your son, I'm not saying he does it because you probably wouldn't allow him to, is he's not taking his old games and trading them into GameStop and getting ripped off as some of these kids are doing,
Right.
you know, for the newest console, is it killing the industry in a sense?
I don't think it's killing the industry, but I could say a couple quick things. One is I agree with John. Like, I don't mind a digital copy as long as it doesn't require like a server authentication. So when this company goes belly up or vanishes, you can't play the game
That's
anymore
what
because they can't
scares me.
authenticate with a server. That's what I don't
Right.
like about the newest games. There are games you can download and, you know, it plays local. It's fine. If there's an update, it'll take it, but it doesn't need the update to play. But as to what you were asking, I know some people who, like my son, I bought him, of course, he never played with it. I bought him a 3DS, which is now my 3DS because he never played with it. But it came with a couple of games like digitally installed on it, right? Now, mine's fine because it's in a bag on the shelf. But other people I know played it and the machine broke. And when they went to get a new one, they had to buy the digital copy on a cartridge. They didn't put it back on there. It's like they lost it, type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of bugs me about that type of thing. So I'm not opposed to digital only type of game. Now, like Doom, right? Doom back in the day. First, you could only get Doom or Wolfenstein on, you know, it was not, I guess it was still digital downloads, but you could play the game. You could download it. You could play it. It's only when you got these games where people, you know, like I'm trying to think of a game that went away. The servers shut down, and then when those servers shut down, the game is worthless. It's a paperweight.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have a problem with it on a number of levels. One, from your point of view, because you bought this, now you can't play it, but also from a historic standpoint, because the game's offline until someone hacks a way to get it going again. And most people are not going to hack every single game that server's been shut down on. No, there's a historic point to this. I mean, these are games, yes, but these are also people's times at coding. It's just history as well. This is our history, like art.
But Glenn, what about if the hard drive dies? Like right now, we're all going back and we're buying these TurboGrafx 16 original cartridges and playing them on our. You can't do that. 30 years from now, is your son going to be able to go back and buy, you know, your hard drive is going to die. It's inevitable. It's like 5 years, 5 to 7 years.
Answer for that. In 30 years, I'm going to be dead, and everything I have here is going to be in a garage sale for 5 cents. He's going to put it outside saying it's junk.
But I guess
take it. And you three are going to be there getting all the stuff that I saved. My son is going, I don't care about it.
Yeah, make sure you send us. Tell Cole what our addresses are and our phone numbers so he can give us. You know, no, but seriously though,
no,
like the collectors of future.
Right. That's the thing is, I mean, we talked about it before. Is that everything we have, even your Switch, at one point the hardware is going to fail and die. So the only thing you could do is, as emulators come out, the ROMs get dumped, is hopefully holographic storage, which exists now, believe it or not, comes to fruition, because that stuff's supposed to last like 1,000 years. That's the only thing you're going to do, honestly, really.
Right.
When you think about it, I mean, we have the Internet Archive. If people know about that, there's actually the Internet Archive that does archive a lot of the games, but they're still part of the experience you're never going to get. Like what's going on now with Arcade, you want to bring back the NeoGeo Mini cage, right? So the ROMs, the inside's already emulated. There's people who've been doing that. Game & Watch is emulated, but you'll never have that physical shell, you know, and that's part of the experience. I mean, we're playing all the like the TurboGrafx 16 games or Nintendo games on a computer emulator. It's just not the same. I mean, you're playing the game, yeah, it's fun, but the experience is different than when you have the actual controls and the console. It's just a different experience. So I think eventually, as time goes on, that's going to just be lost to time. You're just never going to get that again. It's just going to be playing the games in an emulated fashion. That's just the way it's going to be.
You're very depressing. You're depressing, John. What's your take? Come on. He's depressing. He's depressing us.
No, you know, and I was thinking back to the resale value of the whole thing. Now, I don't really sell my games. I don't mind trading a couple of them here and there. You know, if I'm for sure never going to play it ever again, someone else wants it, because I can always find it back. The cool thing with these like physical copies of games is you can get it back. Like I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII, so I grabbed it. But things like what's a game that came out kind of recently? I can't even think of one. But I don't mind waiting. Like, you know, give it, you know, like Last of Us 2, it's going to come out. Do I need to play when it first comes out? Not really. I can wait a while, and then I'll get it when they drop the price by half within a few weeks later. Sometimes it seems like when they do this. It's when you resell a system that's full of digital games, though. Like you're like, hey, here's my PlayStation 3, and it comes with 200 built-in games that are downloaded. How much will you give me for it? And you're like, and they don't even care. They're just like, I don't care about the digital games. The PlayStation 3, that's where the money is. The digital games don't have any value to it. You're basically just, you know, you're renting the pleasure of playing these games until you move on. And that's why what Glenn was talking about. That's why preservation is so important. I mean, places like the Strong Museum of Play in Rochester, New York, places like the Video Game History Foundation. They're taking all these old archives of games for PC, for NES, and anything else really, and just having them archived somewhere. So there is an instance of it. It's a part of video game history. We've lost so much of that back in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s of games that they're gone and they'll never be found ever again, literally. Just like movies, movies deteriorate after a while. So all these great films from like the 30s and 40s are gone forever, and it's such a soul-crushing thing to think about.
And that's where we're at with the cusp of all this.
He's right. He's right, because it's an art form. I mean, it's entertainment, but this is an art form, and it's stuff that has to be preserved, and it's just getting more and more difficult because there are companies that don't want their stuff touched. They come after you for it, but we need to preserve it for our kids. Not my kid; he doesn't care about it, but other kids want to play it.
Somebody's kids,
Right.
Somebody's kids has to play it, right? So it's just. I'm not trying to be depressing. It's just a reality that the older something gets, the harder it is to keep it going. And to be honest, we were talking about this the other day, Stephen, that maybe we do a segment where I talk about a game that no one even remembers at all.
Yes.
Like a game from the early 70s or 80s that was a great game, but it just disappeared over the course of time. And if people go, "Oh my God, I forgot about that game," and they bring it back to the forefront, there are tens of thousands of different games out there. But Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Dig Dug, those are the ones people remember. They don't remember the other ones.
Well, I know too. And John, I was watching, even though I have the TurboGrafx Mini, I watched your video where you went through each of the games because I was new at it, and I wanted to get somebody that's been experienced because I respected the fact, like you and Glenn, when you say, "I've had this as a kid. These are the cool games to play," and I'm sure Doug, you do the same thing. Some of these games, like I probably wouldn't have clicked on. In the menu system, but you played it and you were like, "Oh, this is really cool. This is what you do. You go through and do this." That to me, those videos are gold, because I don't have time sometimes to try to figure out, what game does what, and sometimes I go into like Yo Bro.
Right.
Like
about Yo Bro, and that's a system. That's a system killer. It's like, "Oh, I really want to play this game." The first game I want to try is Yo Bro, and you play it, and you're like, "How did this even exist?" And then you're done. You're just like, "Well, I tried."
Yeah.
And, you'll never experience Military Madness. You'll never experience Summer Assault, which is another great game. There's so much out there.
Well, I'm sitting there. I don't know, Glenn, if you had the same experience because you were defending it, but like Yo Bro, I'm sitting there going, "This is awful." And then I'm watching John's video, and John's like, "Yeah, this isn't really a good game."
Experience, if you're gonna have the gaming experience with a console, you gotta have the good and you gotta have the bad.
You do.
That's bad.
More bad on the Sega Genesis, but whatever. But you still have to have some bad there as well. So, Yo Bro, was it a good game? No, but I'm sure someone liked it.
It was good enough to have a sequel. I mean, like I said, they made Camp California for the TurboGrafx 16 CD, the TurboGrafx CD, Camp California, with actual Beach Boys music. I mean, it's just not even like inspired by. It's just like the actual tunes are the background music of that game. And apparently that's probably where all the money went. All the money went to the licensing for using these games, and not enough actually went to the programmers.
And a thing to remember, real quick, is that these games are released in Japan, and the culture is very different there. So that Yo Bro with the bear and a skateboard being in California, that's how they kind of perceive the area. So to them, it could have been a hit. That's why it came out in a sequel. But
I would doubt that very much, that they thought that was. So before we got to wrap this up, right. Before we wrap this up, John, we got to ask you. So all-time favorite game. Okay. All-time favorite system. And what game are you looking forward to playing that is coming out?
It changes every day, and it does for most. But my go-to favorite game of all time is Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link, just because how I felt when I first played it back in the day, and I played it right when it first came out. It was just, I loved The Legend of Zelda and that style. I grew up, like I said, with Pong. I had the Atari, grew up in the arcades. here it is, late 80s. I finally got my NES, which has been out for a couple years by now. So I just had those earlier Nintendo game memories. But then when I played Zelda 2, it was during a time when Nintendo didn't care about guidelines. They were like, here's Super Mario Brothers, now here's Super Mario Brothers 2, and you probably know that Super Mario Brothers 2 is a different game in Japan anyway. So then here's Legend of Zelda, and here's Legend of Zelda 2, and nobody said at the time, like, that's not Legend of Zelda, that's nothing like Legend of Zelda. It should be this. It's like nobody cares. Like, oh, okay, that's fine. Here's Legend of Zelda 2. And I loved it. I loved that side-scrolling platformy part, but I loved the you can still build your levels, gain your levels. I'm not a huge JRPG fan. When it comes to like turn-based battles, it's like, man, I just want to hit you. I don't want to wait for my turn. To me at the time, it was fantastic. It's dated now. If you play Zelda 2 now for the very first time, it's pretty rough. It's just like, oh, it's like monotonous kind of. But thinking back to how I felt when I first played that game, that's why. And the NES is my favorite system of all time, just because of the variety. It was that perfect time in my life where I was like, here's just what they had and what was available, and I made friends back in school. Like I must have been elementary, middle school for me when the NES came out, where I was just like, I have friends today because we played Nintendo games, and we didn't have the internet back then. We had Nintendo Power every other month at the time, so when it came to games like Legend of Zelda or like whatever else at the time, you actually had to make friends with other people to say like, hey, did you ever find where this one thing is? Like, oh yeah, I found this thing, but I can't find this. And like, oh, I know where that is. It's over here. So it was a fun time. It was a fun time for video gaming growing up, for sure.
Awesome.
Games that are coming out that Trials of Mana just came out. I'm not the biggest. I like Secret of Mana. I don't think it's the greatest game ever, but I like it. And I played a little bit of Trials of Mana, but not much for the Super Famicom. But because it's kind of going back to that thing where it's not turn-based battles, you're just fighting people. That game just came out. I haven't even had a chance to play it much. I played the demo for a little bit, and I'll grab the full version of that eventually. But games that are coming out soon, the first game that comes to mind is Iron Man VR, because I'm a huge VR gamer. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Iron Man VR. But I'm sure there's other games I just can't think of on the top of my head.
Cool. Well, and there's shots fired in the YouTube chat room towards Glenn when we were talking about Yo Bro. Okay. So Nostalgia, our buddy Nostalgia over there, he said Yo Bro was probably better than the original 3 Star Wars films. Glenn, before you say anything, let me put you. Wait. Let me put you full screen and take off your lower third, because I have a feeling you got 3 minutes. Go.
Wait. Well. First of all, I assume he meant to say either the prequel saga or the Kathleen Kennedy abomination. He was not talking about A New Hope, Empire, or Jedi.
No. He's talking about the original 3. He said,
original.
He said, "Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro."
Yeah, but how old is Nostalgia? Him original 3 sounds to me like prequels. I cannot even get into that. I can't because he's doing the bait. He's just trying to get me agitated, and I'm not gonna let it happen because
it is working.
It's not possible. No, not at all. Not at all. Now, if we're talking about Kathleen Kennedy and how she ruined Star Wars, I could talk about that all you want. Or how she destroyed Disney down in Florida with Doug was down there and it was like, there's no one there.
Nostalgia said episodes 4, 5, and 6. He said episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, he's playing. Me and him are like that. He's just playing. He's just trying to get into my skin because no. Sorry, not buying it. not falling for that trap. If anything, I can say Jedi was a little bit weak because it took Chewbacca and his people and made them into little teddy bears. I mean, that kind of was stupid. But other than that, not falling for the trap. Absolute perfect films. Right. Perfect.
Well, before we got to sign off here, I want to let everybody know this Monday, 2 days from now, we're going to do a special episode of the Retro Buzz, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Al Link. If you guys have a Legends Ultimate cabinet, you want to tune in. If you have an Arcade 1-Up cabinet, you want to tune in because Al Link makes the awesome Pixelcade that I know Glenn and myself have that allows you to customize your marquee. I made a Tech Buzz one, a Retro Buzz marquee. It's pretty awesome. You can run it with a Raspberry Pi. I think he got it working now with a Raspberry Pi 4. And I know at Games, he's trying to get it working with them right out of the box. So tune in. You want to check it out. Al's going to kind of go over his workflow with it, I guess, and how he's designing and some of the ideas he has with it. So
it's real nice. I mean, it's definitely one of the nicest things, I have. Well, it's over there. We'll see it Monday night.
We don't have a
But,
promo code for it, but P-Dubs does.
No.
Inside joke, but P-Dubs does have a promo code for it, so you can get a discount on it. Out there. I don't know if he's tuned in, but it's his birthday weekend.
I think P-Dubs is turning, what, 15 tomorrow?
Either 13 or 13 or 14,
about that.
something like that.
I mean, his wife really rocked the cradle over there. I think he's like 14. I don't know. But he's in Arizona. I think it's legal out there. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Who knows? He's turning this mini.
Yeah, there you go. John's right. Perfect. Also, guys, want to let you know if you're interested. I know a lot of you guys have requested over the last couple months and stuff. We actually have our Retro Buzz shirts. You can go up to tpublic.com/thetechbuzz, or you can go to thetechbuzz.net/store, and you can see. I know Doug, myself, we got them here. They got the really cool design that doesn't look like Glenn got punched in the face, so you guys will enjoy these great shirts that we have made. And like I said, we're working on getting the mugs. They told me with everything that's going on, it's going to be a little bit yet, so we'll be patient with that and get that. But yeah, I mean, John's going to stick around for a little bit afterwards, hopefully here, and we'll take some phone calls. But John, thank you so much. Let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram and all that at John Blue Riggs. My first name, color, last name, John Blue Riggs. Find me on Twitter, hit me up there, Instagram as well. And the easiest thing is just search for John Riggs. It's just my name. Search for that on YouTube. You'll see me probably vaguely pointing at whatever I'm talking about. I literally just did a video today on 20 arcade games that I enjoyed growing up that are from the 80s and 90s, which is perfect because if you have the At Games Legends 1-Up, quick plug for them again. some games you might consider throwing on there. Games that I had fond memories of. My videos are kind of quicker pace where it's like I don't try to go into too many details. I suck at doing reviews. I learned this trying to do YouTube a long time ago. I suck at doing reviews, so I don't even bother doing reviews. I just like, here's a game, here's what it looks like. What do you think it's cool? I don't know, but check that out. But I have a bunch of videos that are like that. But I'm probably best known for trying to either fix broken video games with open cart surgery, and I also show you how you can hack your own Nintendo game. So maybe you want to be in Super Mario Brothers. I show you how you can take out Mario, put in yourself, and then put that back onto a physical cart to either play for yourself or to give to someone for Christmas or something like that. And I show you how to do everything and links to all the tools you need and everything.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you jumping on here. Yeah. Appreciate you coming on here. And
my pleasure.
Mr. Doug, what's your new video coming out tomorrow? I was going to say on Sunday, but tomorrow is Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm all messed up. What do we got for the Legends? What is it? The School of Legends Arcades.
Legendary Academy. Yeah. So tomorrow's video is navigating the menus. This is just a basic introduction to all the menus, the sub menus. What do they do? How do you navigate them? What does each one mean? Because if you're not really tech savvy and you walk up to that Legends Ultimate cabinet for the first time and you see all the menus on the side and you see the menus on the top, it doesn't really explain it well in the 3-page instruction booklet of the cabinet. So hopefully this gives people a basic understanding of what is in those menus and how they can navigate and find things they're truly looking for.
Awesome. And going along with that, this weekend, guys, if you have a Legends Ultimate cabinet, the 2 games that are going to be out there, I believe they have Glenn's favorite, and I don't know if Glenn's going to get in it. And I actually, what is he doing?
Yo, bro, really?
Yeah, no, not yo, bro. Glenn, what's your favorite arcade? What's your favorite favorite arcade game that you always got to build your arcades to look like?
What's my favorite arcade game? There's too many, man.
Well, the one that you have, it's not Zaxxon. You have a certain Thunder Stick that you want to give away.
Oh, is that what we're talking about now?
Well, okay, but there's a competition that somebody could use that giveaway for a certain game. What's the name?
I mean, for Tron, you're talking about?
Oh, Tron.
Is that
Tron, Glenn's favorite game of all time.
Is that how you were going around?
Listen,
to get that?
Listen, you're not picking up my cues here. I'm trying my best.
Nostalgia stuck on my blood pressure up from this comment before.
So
anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to do a giveaway. Actually, my first giveaway, to be quite honest, because people know me. I don't give away anything, so this is hard for me. I want to appropriate. I don't want to give away. But I do want to give away a Tron joystick, whether for the arcade 1-up or the Legends Ultimate. The winner will just tell me which one that they would like to get. I think what we want to do is we wanted to try and promote, the Retro Buzz. So we're trying to figure out how we want to do it. So maybe on Monday's show, we'll go into the details of how you could win a Tron stick for either your Legends Ultimate or your arcade 1-up. Maybe you just have to tell me how much you like the TurboGrafx better than a Sega Genesis. Maybe that'll be I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe we'll do something
my.
like that. Or
I'll have an
Star Wars 4,
anti-giveaway
5,
if
and
that's the
6.
case.
They're both great.
Or our Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 are the best things ever since sliced bread, type of thing.
Well,
Just saying.
so we're going to announce that, tomorrow, or are we going to announce that Monday when we have Al on?
We'll do it on Monday when Al's on.
Okay.
We'll do it then.
So either way, it escapes me right now. I just messaged Jason because it escapes me. There's another game that they're doing the tournament for. Make sure you check it out. Follow him on social media. He told me, I had so much stuff I was trying to remember here. Oh, bless him. He texted me. Here we go. Fix It Felix is the other game that they're.
yeah.
So we got Tron, Fix It Felix. Fix It Felix Jr. He said. So
Right.
got it pulled up here. So make sure if you guys are into that. I beat Glenn's score last competition. I think I was 10th overall on Tron for a guy that's not into Tron. I learned how to play it that day because Glenn had a higher score, but he didn't do it through there, so it doesn't count. So
I don't deal with technology.
no. If it's not on the leaderboard, it doesn't count. So
Exactly.
I don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
So my
I
goal.
don't trust the internet. You don't trust anything on the internet, man.
Listen, my goal of that whole tournament with that games was not to be first. And I told the other people, I'm like, just keep me in there so I'm higher than Glenn. That's all I care about. You all can beat me. That's fine. As long as I can say that I beat Glenn, Mr. Tron, I'm happy.
That's right, Tron.
That's it. That's all I care. I don't care if Doug comes in there and beats me or John.
I'm gonna do my score on videotape, and I'm gonna send that to
Nope. Doesn't count. Has to be on
right?
the nope.
Billy Mitchell.
Nope.
Billy Mitchell will vouch for my score.
You better get Walter Day over to your house, okay, and have him stand there, because then maybe I'll believe it. Maybe.
I can look at Walter. Wait, I can look at Walter Day.
Maybe.
There we go.
Need the referee shirt. Not bad. That's not bad.
All right, we'll give it to you. So that's what's coming up this weekend. So it ends tomorrow night at midnight, I believe. Jason can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room, but midnight tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out. The At Games, get in the tournament. It's a lot of fun. We've done a few of them. It's a lot of fun. But make sure you guys go check out Glenn in all his billions of places on the interwebs. But the main place you can check him out.
Not as many as John, but I'm getting close.
Well,
okay.
You guys can compete.
There we go.
Glenn started a new project with his son. Why don't you talk a little bit about that really quick, because then we got to wrap this for post show.
Yeah, just, my son's now 15, and he's got his own channel, but I figured we'd start doing it together. So we're doing a new show. It's a live stream only called Glenn and Cole Plays. We'll pick a console that he hates, but I love, and torch him with it for about an hour. And we'll play a game. So
it sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
It is for me.
Tough love.
There you go. Well, we appreciate all you guys coming out here, especially on this Saturday. We'll be back to Fridays next week, but we also have that special edition coming up Monday, so we hope you guys tune in. Al's a great guy. We know you'll like it if you haven't seen the Pixelcade up close. I know Glenn's got some videos on that as well, so you guys can check that out ahead of time if you're curious. But bring your questions. Al will have answers. I feel like this is a Radio Shack commercial, but tune in anyways. And if you got questions, he's got answers. So that's what's coming up here, coming on Monday. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you guys here that are in the audience in a few minutes for the post show. The rest of you guys, we'll see you on Monday or next Friday. Have a good week.